Welcome to the podcast. It's Mr. Ish. We're here at Kips Bay Boys and Girls Club, Kudare Clubhouse, Summer Camp, week number 2. Weeks are flying by, not too fast. We have a group of gentlemen today. They all are 9-year-olds? Yeah, 9-year-old gentlemen. We're gonna talk about a topic. I want to see what they're gonna do with their money. Just introduce yourself, please. Give me your name.
My name is Sean.
Welcome, Sean.
My name's Christian.
Christian, welcome.
My name is Jacob, and I'm 9.
Jacob had to think about it. Jacob got too many names, maybe. Welcome to the podcast, guys. So today's topic was brought up by one of you, and it was if I had $1 million. So let's hear your dream. If you had $1 million, what would you do with this money? Who wants to go first? So that we don't have to follow by somebody else. Who wants to go first? They might be giving me a ticket. Give me a pause here for a second. So if you had $1 million, what do you see yourself doing?
I would give it to some of my family members.
Oh, believe me, they'll be out there in a line wanting to get some. So you have no problem giving that money away. Every family member will be out there like, oh, can you pay for this? Can you do this? So go ahead. So you're gonna take care of some family members. What else are you gonna do with your money?
Buy like a car.
Okay,
Not too expensive.
Okay, what kind of car you buying?
Like a Nissan.
Okay, I threw that one out beforehand. Okay, so a Nissan, you're taking care of some people. What else you gonna do? Remember, you only have $1 million. It's not like you have multiple. You only have one. That's it?
Not a think so. Feed the homeless.
You gonna feed all the homeless, or you gonna do like some charity work and
Charity.
okay, and give back to people with needs? That's fine. That's it. All right. What are you gonna do with your $1 million?
Me?
I'm pretty sure you thought about this. Okay.
Personally, I have multiple reasons. So one is I would either divide the money equally to each family member that lives in my house. So like me, my sister, my mom, and my dad.
Okay.
And another scenario would be I would probably feed the homeless because when I go to Kingsbridge with my mom, I can never see a homeless person just sitting there.
Yeah. It's sometimes it's sad people, just outside in the street. That's it's really, really hard. In the summer, it's hard, but in the winter, it's extremely hard to see someone just living in the streets. So that means you have a heart. But if you divided that money between your four in the family, that means you only have $250,000. What are you doing with your $250,000?
So there's not really much that I could do with $250,000 because I'm only a kid.
There's a lot of being a kid or not being a kid. $250,000 is $250,000.
Could buy a car.
Well, he don't know how to drive yet.
Most kids would feel like Elon Musk going into Five Below with $250,000.
Basically. So tell me some of the items that you would do. It's nice that you feed some of the homeless. It's nice that you divide it within the family. What else?
I would probably just save the money for future preferences.
Okay, saving it for the future. You want to add something on? Go ahead.
I want to invest it. I would invest it to get more money.
You want to invest it to get more money. You know what the problem with investing is sometimes? That people think that because you invest, you're going to get more money. There is a chance of you losing.
All your money.
Not all of it, but whatever you invested. So let's say you invested in a company, and all of a sudden the company goes down, and you invested, $50,000, and the company goes bankrupt. Your money's gone. So people don't think about that part. I'll invest. That's great, but investment is still a gamble. It's still it's a long shot that you will make money off of it.
Yeah, the company has to be like really big, like Disney Plus, for example, or Nickelodeon. If you want to invest.
Pepsi?
Well, that's what they call the blue tag companies like Apple, Pepsi, Disney. Those are big companies that for them to go completely bankrupt, it's gonna take a lot.
Yeah.
Nike, the big brands like that, they're not just gonna fall. So, but if you invest I guess a long time ago, people invested in Tesla when it first came out. People were like, oh, nobody's gonna do electric cars, and because they became really big, they made a lot of money off of it. But if they were to fail, your money will fail with them. What do you see yourself with $1 million? What you gonna do?
Probably buy a house,
Okay,
big house.
where you gonna live at? In New York, or you moving out of state?
Well, some of my life in New York, and probably I'll move to,
Because if you're buying a house with $1 million in New York, you're not gonna get much.
well, probably to Florida.
Yeah, and then in Florida, you got a castle. You can buy a big house for like $400,000 in Florida.
I'll buy a house. I'll go to Texas.
Texas, you could probably find a big house too.
Texas.
Yeah.
They have houses that's like really big.
So yeah, you're buying a
That
house. What else you doing?
kind of a lot of money.
Probably buy a few cars.
Ooh, a few. You have any name tags on the cars that you would like to get?
Probably a Tesla,
Expensive.
a Ferrari.
Oh,
Very expensive.
you're getting into some tough prices now.
Yeah.
And
Tesla,
a
you could probably get away with
and
50
a
grand.
BMW.
And a BMW? Okay, so now you're going 50 grand for the Tesla, about 150,000 for the Ferrari. And what's the other one? You said a BMW?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably do a little. You could probably do a BMW for 50.
Like-
A small
25?
BMW. No, you ain't
25?
doing 25.
Like-
So you already spent 200,000 on cars. So that means that leaves you with 800,000. With that 800,000, you got to buy a house. So if you move into, like you said, Florida or Texas or wherever, you could probably get a house for like half of that. So that's four, and then you leave you with about $400,000. Not bad.
You basically, how I see, if you're going to buy a new house, you need like, it could be nice, but it has to be like, at least under $500,000. Because if you go over $500,000, what eventually you run out of money to pay rent.
Well, the first thing that you guys probably don't know is that we need to go to a state where they don't charge us a lot of taxes. And one of the few places where you don't pay a lot of taxes is Florida and Texas. So moving to Florida, when you work in Florida, to give you an example, my cousin has a job. He works and he makes $1,000 a week, right? He comes home with like $960. So that means they only took off $40. I make $1,000, let's say here in New York, I'm probably coming home with like close to about $640.
They take away 300.
So about $307 is taken out in taxes. So that's the difference. You see, the money in Florida is totally different. That's why a lot of basketball players love to play in Florida and Texas, because when they make, $10 million in Florida, you're technically making almost $10 million. If you make $10 million in New York City, you're probably making half of that. You're probably going home with $4 million, because the government takes almost half your money. So that's a big difference. That's why people that like to live in Florida. Plus, it's beautiful. It's nice and hot. Waters are nice. Beaches are nice. It's a hip town.
But there's a lot of people.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people in New York too.
Some people got anger issues. So
Oh, that's all over.
I think like Texas is kind of dangerous.
Why you say it's dangerous?
I don't really want to say it because we're in school.
We're not in school. We're in summer camp. We're not in school. You can say why it's dangerous.
I feel like more people in Texas own weapons than more people in New York.
Oh yeah, because they could they have a carry and conceal law over there. So we could carry guns in New York. It just takes a bigger process. Like you have to make sure you don't have a record. There's a process that you go through. In Texas, it's a little different. The process. Plus, everyone could carry a gun, but that happens upstate too. When you go upstate New York, people just walk around with their guns, and you see it in the holster. You be like, "Oh, he must be a cop." No, he's not a cop. He just walked around with his gun. So it all depends on what part of the state you're in. But it is. I mean, sometimes people do say that more guns brings more problems, and I could understand what you're saying about Texas.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. If I had $1 million these days, I don't know what I would do with it. I think, well, I have kids, so I definitely would give it to my kids. I'll give them each, a certain amount. But I think I would travel. For me,
50,000?
nah, I'll give them more than that. I mean, if you have, even if you give them, what is it, $1 million? Even if you give them, I have 3 kids, so even if you give them $300,000 each, right? So whenever they start their life, they'll be taken care of. And I take $100,000 and just go on trips, I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
could
saying.
travel. I'll go to Tokyo again. Take my wife, my kids. I'll go to some Caribbean islands. I'll go to Europe. So I'll find a way to spend $100,000
I would
and travel.
I would give 50,000 each family member, because that's going to give me the 250,000, which means I have about
Oh,
$850,000 left.
You're gonna
So
do what I did.
if I do that, I'll go traveling for like $100,000. That's gonna get me to
yeah, that'll be it.
750.
Oh, you doing the whole math? You trying to do a breakdown?
Yes, 750, and then I use the rest a little bit of cars.
You buy
Few
your
cars.
you buy your 3 cars, and then all of a sudden you have 500,000,
Yeah, and then I'll just
and then you invested in a company that's gonna do something. Hopefully they're
Disney, like
oh,
Disney
you're
or
going
Jordan. Disney or Jordan.
okay.
Then I add more money, and then I do that process all over again.
Okay. Well, at least this was a decently thought out $1 million that you guys had. If you had $1, what would you do with it?
Give it to a homeless person.
Yes.
Right
Or-
now, if you had $1,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you guys stand outside with $1 and give it to somebody.
Or you can just go to a deli and get
Buy a
about
snack.
4 sour mini burgers.
4 mini burgers, where?
Like the
The
burgers.
White Castle?
No, not
Oh.
the
No,
White
there's
Castle.
there's like
Like the
Johnny
candy burgers.
Oh yeah, I know the little candy ones.
Yes.
And give it to homeless?
They're usually like 25 cents. Yeah.
You don't want to get
I would
candy
just
to a
keep
homeless?
it. I'll just keep it because
if I
I don't
have
have anything to eat.
That's
I
being
had
greedy.
$7 on me, and one time I had $7 on me, and decided to buy $7 worth of
Candy? Jesus.
that's mini burgers.
Oh,
I
I don't like those rubber burgers.
I had like those. No, they were like they're not.
I know
rubber.
they got like sour ones and all that. I know what they are. They look like Krabby Patties. I
They
don't
have. I don't know the formula.
They have regular and then
Yeah.
sour.
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 All right,
not
so
really
with
sour.
$1, you say you're gonna give it to the homeless. He say he's keeping it. He say he's buying hamburgers. So
What about 25 cents?
Let's
he's giving the homeless a lot of
What
money.
you gonna have?
Oh yeah. What are you gonna have?
You're giving the homeless a lot of money. I like to walk around with you and see if this is gonna happen. Cause I'm sure there's a lot of homeless people around here.
there is.
And
There's
and you
people on
and
the
you always
train.
and you always give them your money.
Kinda.
Okay, you have a good heart. I give to some people. I don't give it to everybody. I have to admit, I don't give to all of them.
Like one time, you can't always trust every person you see on the street.
True.
Because
True.
there's actually 2 times. Because one time my dad showed me a video, and this guy was like walking around acting like he had a like broken foot, and then he was asking people for money, saying he was homeless. And then when he got like a $20 bill, he went and he was like showing it off, and he was walking perfectly fine. And then one time, like I said, there's a lot of homeless people in Kingsbridge. My mom, she saw a guy, he had no shoes and some like things like that, no shirt, and she bought him oranges. And another example is that you can't just give homeless people your money because you don't know if they're using it for something else besides food.
That's true.
And
That's very true.
sometimes they can actually be rich. They could be rich,
Oh, yeah.
trying to get more money, acting like they're homeless.
Well,
then-
they're,
but-
So
but
then they're
then-
good actors because sometimes they're out there for hours and hours and hours trying to get another dollar.
and then
So
they act like they're and then once nobody's there, like it's nighttime, like 2, 3 in the morning, they'll go back to their house.
they could do that.
Also, it could also be a social experiment.
Just
Yeah.
experiment.
I didn't think of that. Smart guy.
Like if you're if you just got food and they're homeless, there could be a special spirit.
I don't
You
know
give
where,
them some
where we
food.
went from $1 million to talking about the homeless, but
You give them some food. Sometimes like how much some people can like give you how much you paid for. Like if you had
somebody's moving something around. All right, guys. Well, I think we finished with our $1 million talk. Let's end it there and let's see if we could do a podcast about something else. All right, say your goodbyes.
Bye.
check, 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 1 2 1 2, check, 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 check.